Going to show you what this phone comes with, what it looks like. Lisa, why don't you take it away?
Sure. So we have the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus here, the larger model. And just to get started, we'll take a look at what comes in the box with the iPhone 7. So here we have the phone in the jet black finish, which is the new one that Apple just unveiled. So other than the phone, you have a lot of the typical things that you normally find when you buy a new iPhone, like the charging cable and the charging brick that goes with it. But what's different this time around is the earpods that Apple gives you this time around come with a lightning connector, because the new iPhone doesn't have the headphone jack, so you plug your headphones in through the lightning connector at the bottom. So they bundled
the charging port.
Yes, so that you plug your headphones right into the charging port, as you can see right there. But they also include a adapter in case you have older headphones that you still want to use with the new iPhone. They're giving you this adapter right here. So if you plug this into the bottom, you'll notice this is the familiar 3.5 millimeter port that your old iPhone came with that you can use to plug in your older headphones. And then this is what the new headphones will look like when you plug them in.
So does that make it hard to charge your phone and listen to music at the same time?
Yeah, if you typically do that, that might be a problem, unless you're planning on just playing music out of the speakers, which, by the way, Apple upgraded to stereo speakers this time around, and they do sound a lot better. So this is what your phone will look like when you plug in the lightning connector. You'll notice it's a bit slimmer, and there's room for more speakers at the bottom as well. So that's what comes in the box with the new iPhone. And then this is the larger model, the 7 Plus. This is also a new finish that Apple just introduced. This is the new black model. So you can tell that this is a matte finish. It's not quite as shiny and glossy as the jet black finish. These are both completely new. Before that, we just had the space gray model and the rose gold model and the regular gold and the silver model. So, the new iPhone doesn't really look very different from the old version. The big difference is you'll notice those antenna lines that usually kind of stretch across the back of the phone are no longer there. So I think what Apple has done is they kind of put it in the top of the phone. You can't really tell with this finish. I guess that's another benefit to getting one of the new finishes, is that you don't really see those antenna lines at all. If you look at pictures of the rose gold or the gold ones, you'll kind of see this white band stretch across the top. So yeah, that's what's in the box, and that's the new finishes.
Yeah, and the other thing that I noticed about the iPhone 7 Plus that's different is it looks like there's two lenses back there.
Yes, so that's the other big thing, is Apple put two lenses on the larger model. The first one is a wide-angle lens, so that's the standard lens that you have on a normal smartphone, and it's the same one that this model has. But the second one is a telephoto lens, which makes it easier to zoom in and get high-quality shots. So I guess the thinking there is that if you are really far away and you want to zoom in, you'll zoom and then it'll switch to the telephoto lens. That'll be doing most of the work. It'll eliminate some of that blurriness and that noise that you get when you try to zoom in really close.
Yeah, and then Apple's also talking about that like portraiture mode effect that they're going to introduce, like a software update later, right?
Yeah, so that won't be out yet. It's coming later this year, but it essentially lets you take advantage of the two cameras on this to blur things in the background and make whatever's in the foreground look a little bit sharper. So if you're doing a portrait and you want it to focus on the subject really sharply and then have whatever's in the background slightly blurred, slightly out of focus, this should enable you to do that. We'll find out later this year when it comes out.
Totally. So it sounds like, if you're like a mobile photographer, if you're really serious about taking pictures about photography, you probably want the Plus. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that's what it sounds like, at least. The other benefit that both phones get is there's 4 LEDs instead of 2. So if you're taking pictures in a dark location, you should be able to have more flash there at your disposal to help brighten up the image. And Apple also mentioned that there is a flicker sensor in the device that reads the type of lighting in every room. So if I'm taking a picture of you right now, it'll know the light temperature and kind of adjust for that, so that skin tones and colors don't come out strange or washed out or anything like that.
Yeah, totally. And then you've got the AirPods, they're called?
Yes. So these are the new Bluetooth headphones that Apple will soon start selling. You can tell that they look a lot like the EarPods, which are the wired versions here. But you'll notice there's no wire, obviously. And so what these do is as soon as you put them in your ears, they have sensors that detect when you put them in your ears and when you take them out. So they'll be able to play music and pause music without you having to reach for your phone and do it. So if you're on your morning commute or something, you know, you should be able to pop these in and music will start playing right away.
Right, and they've kind of done that because like the headphone jack's gone, so they're sort of pushing people to go for like the wireless headphones.
Right.
Although those are kind of on the expensive side compared to like normal headphones, right?
Yeah, these are $159, so they're a little pricey for some people. But yeah, and the case is interesting too because it charges them, so you don't have to worry about plugging them in when you get home. You'll eventually have to charge this, which is why there's a little port at the bottom. But yeah, if you toss these in your bag, they should charge on their own.
Yeah, and they've got Siri as well, right?
Yeah, so if you have them in your ear and you tap them, Siri will pop up and she'll be in your ear and you'll be able to... Oh, another thing I should point out about these is that there's microphones in them. So that's how you're able to talk to Siri if you don't want to take out your phone, or if you're getting a phone call or something like that, and you don't want to, like, if your phone's in your pocket while you're walking and you don't want to take it out, there are microphones in these earbuds so you can just answer the call.
Yeah, totally. So what do you think about, like, I mean, they're kind of small, seems like it might be easy to lose them, or if you're like out on a run, like, feels like if you're really like doing some vigorous exercise, like maybe they'll fall out or something like that. Like, what if you're sort of an exercise fanatic, like what do you do about that?
So I haven't had the chance to go running in these yet. I have worn them while walking around and during my commute, and they seemed pretty snug. I didn't run into any issues of having them feel loose or feel like they were going to come out of my ear at any point. So that's definitely promising because I've definitely used other earbuds where that has happened. The real test will be when I go running with them. So, but hopefully they'll stay in because I know that is a big pain point with wireless earbuds and earbuds in general for working out is that they don't always feel super secure. But yeah, so I have noticed that like it seems like the iPhone 7 is all about the little things. There's no splashy new feature like last year we had 3D touch. The year before that we had the big redesign with the bigger screens. You know, these look slightly different. The design is slightly changed, but most people will find it very familiar. But it seems like Apple cared about upgrading the smaller things and the things that are inside the phone rather than on the outside. The camera is one of the biggest upgrades. But there's also a new home button that isn't actually a button. Actually, it's a haptic sensor. So when you press it, you feel a little click, but it feels more like 3D touch and Force Touch, the technology that's on the Mac. So it's going to be a little bit of a switch for some people that are used to having that physical home button. But I honestly, when I started using these, I kind of expected there to be a big change. And it felt pretty natural, honestly. If you're used to using 3D touch, I feel like the experience is going to feel more consistent. I know some people might not feel that way and it might feel strange at first, but to me, it felt kind of natural for sure. And you can also control how noticeable you want that feedback to be in the settings menu as well. So if you feel like you miss having that button press, you can kind of put it on the highest setting or something.
So if I've got the latest iPhone before this one, the iPhone 6S, do you think I should upgrade or do you think I should hold off and see what, say, the 7S might have in store?
I honestly think if you have the 6S, the experience isn't going to feel too different from what you're already doing. So I haven't gotten a solid feel for what the battery life is going to be like yet. But if the battery life is a lot longer, that could be a selling point for some people. But honestly, I mean, if you take a look at this, it probably feels very similar to what you already have. If you're upgrading from the 6 or the 6 Plus, I definitely think you'll really appreciate that speed bump, that longer battery life, 3D touch. Like those are all things that are going to feel new and different to you. If you have the 6S and you are really desperate for more battery life or a better camera, that it might be worth it. But I think the overall experience is just still so similar to what you already have.
So if I want the new iPhone 7, when can I order it?
So it's been available for order since September 9th, but it'll officially launch on September 16th.
Got it. Cool. So that's the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Look for more of our Apple coverage and iPhone coverage on time.com/tech.